What's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue talking about propagating, and we're going to talk about how you can propagate a fig tree from a branch that you take off during the time you're trimming your trees. Okay, you know, winter time comes, tree goes dormant, that's when it's time to trim the trees. Well, with these fig trees, we're actually able to take cuttings and root them the same way you do a lot of things like tomatoes or elderberries or a lot of different herbs. All right, so in order to do this, what we're going to need is 1 gallon bags, 1 gallon pots with high quality potting soil in there. You're going to need a rooting hormone. Whether you use the gel or the powder, it's up to you. You're going to need a fig branch with multiple lateral shoots coming off of it, and you're going to need high quality garden pruners like these right here that you can get from Haas Tools. So what we're going to do is locate these lateral branches that are coming off of our main trunks. Okay, every one of these lateral branches can be cut, dipped in our rooting hormone, and then placed in potting soil to root. So what we're going to do now is take these cuts with our high quality pruners. We just cut off a lateral branch. All right. Now I'm going to take more cuts than I have bags, and I'll tell you why, what you can do with them. As you can see, I've cut off a good portion of these lateral branches here that were growing out from the sides. And now these are what we'll actually use to grow new trees. So we can put this down. Once we have all of our lateral branches cut, now we're ready to get started. See? So I have more branches than I have pots with potting soil right now. That's okay. These extra branches that you don't have potting soil for at the moment, or let's say that we trimmed our tree first thing in the morning and we knew we weren't going to have time to do this process until tomorrow or later on in the day, you could take these branches, a wet paper towel around them, not all the way around the top, not soaking wet, but a moist paper towel. You're able to wrap these branches in a moist paper towel and drop them in, let's say, a Rubbermaid tote and hold them over until you're ready. Or if you have something like cocoa coir or just an inert medium, you're able to just stick these branches in that medium. So let's say I had a 5-gallon bucket and I had it filled with cocoa coir or peat moss, and I didn't have time to do this process we're about to talk about now. I would just take these branches and stick them in the cocoa coir in the pot, and I could leave them in there. As long as the cocoa coir is moist, I could leave these branches in there for a few days until I'm ready. So what I'm going to do is take the 5 branches that I want to use for this exercise, and the rest I'll keep for a later day. So let's get the branches. All right, so I'm gonna put these down for right now. Cool. So now I have the 5 branches that I am going to propagate into new fig trees. Now this process, this is not an overnight process, okay? What we are attempting to do is to add a rooting hormone to the bottom portion of the branch, the cut end. Now that rooting hormone, when the rooting hormone attaches to the branch, and then we put this branch in a moist environment, it is actually able to grow roots from off of this main trunk. Okay, so in order to do that, like I said, you can use cloning gel or you can use cloning powder. Now I'm gonna make a hole. Simple. I'm gonna take this, make a little hole in the middle of all of my pots the tree branch is going to go. All right, and now I'm going to take my rooting, I'm going to use cloning gel instead of the powder. Now whenever you're using this cloning gel, do not dip your branch directly into the gel. What you want to do is get a cup, a vessel of some sort. I use the top. Pour the cloning gel into the lid. Now I'm able to apply the cloning gel to the bottom. Now the reason why I do not dip the branch or dip any of my cuttings directly into the cloning gel is there may be some disease of some sort on this branch that we cannot see. Now if I take that branch and I dump it right into my gel, what ends up happening is now I've contaminated that whole gel, and that's a waste. So just use the lid. Now you see the cut end I've applied the rooting hormone to, and now I'm just going to stick it into the pot. Put the potting soil down, and that's all. I'm going to repeat this process for the rest of it. Again, the cut end gets the rooting hormone. Now really, figs are the type of tree, or it's the type of plant that you can actually get this to root without even using this rooting gel or rooting hormone, but it increases your chances of success whenever we use this. Okay, so again, I'm just applying it to the cut end. You do not need to work the gel all the way up the branch. It's not necessary. All right, last one. Covered. Into our potting. Into the medium, into the pot. Now the catch. Once you put this in here, the fig, you're going to need to give it a lot of water, okay? If you want to help the rooting process speed up, if you want to speed up the rooting process, you're going to want to put this in a greenhouse, or you're going to want to cover it with some type of dome to keep the humidity levels high. All right? It's not actually necessary, but it helps increase your chances of success. What I find is once you take this fig and we've added the rooting hormone and we drop it into the pot, now as long as I keep this watered, I should be fine. Better than fine, actually. As long as this stays watered, you will be fine. Okay? So again, now this whole process of propagating the fig tree, it takes some time. This might even be a 2-year process. And by that I mean the roots in this tree, they'll grow, and by springtime you'll have roots in this pot. Okay, so 2 to 3 months from now, this pot will already have roots, but you will not have a strong enough root system to take this plant and go drop it in the ground or put it into another pot. Okay, so we'll take this cut. Once we put it in here, we're watering it, and we're just going to maintain this pot throughout the seasons. You'll see it, it'll leaf, it may even fruit. You just want to make sure that it stays watered so that these roots can continue to grow in our pot that we have. After a year and a half or so, after a full season, so if I take these cuts in the winter and it leaves out in the spring, I'm going to grow this thing in this 1 gallon pot. I'm going to keep it in there spring, summer, fall, winter. Next spring, I could move it to a bigger pot if I wanted to. I would keep it in that pot for another year. I would go from here to probably a 5 gallon pot. I would keep it in there for another year, and after 2 years, now these should have a healthy enough and strong enough root system where I'm able to take this and drop it into, let's say, a half a wine barrel, or even directly into the ground, wherever you want to plant it. It's up to you. Whenever it comes to propagating things, we need to make sure that we stay on top of the moisture level in our medium, in our potting soil, okay? These trees do not have any roots yet, so they are depending on us for all of the moisture. That's why it helps if you have a greenhouse or some sort of dome where you can cover these trees, because that extra moisture is absorbed by the branch, and the branch uses it to help the tree grow roots. Also remember that when these roots come out, these are like baby roots. So think of this tree the same way, or treat this tree the same way that you would treat a seedling. All right, we're not rough on the seedling. We don't plant seedlings directly into massive pots when they first start off. Okay, and we also know that seedlings do not have strong, robust root systems yet. So we're going to pay close attention, take good care, and make sure that we are constantly watering these trees, especially come summertime. Okay, because if you start to get root growth and root development in the spring, and you stop watering it when the summer hits, all of these trees will die. But if you stay on top of your watering, and if you stay on top of your watering throughout the seasons, mostly through the summer, come fall and winter, these things are good. All right, and now with these cuts, after we've taken these cuts and we put them in our potting soil or in our bag, we're not placing these in direct sunlight, not yet. With these, we're going to take them and place them in a shaded area. If you have a porch or a patio or anywhere where you can get these out of direct sunlight, that'll help, right? Because remember, they don't have a strong root system. If the sun's beating down on them, it's absorbing whatever moisture is in this soil. Then what do the roots have? Where are they getting their moisture from? That's why we're keeping these trees out of the direct sun. That's it. Pretty simple. You'll notice that a lot of plants, you're able to propagate them basically the same way. If you have a rooting hormone of some sort and some potting soil in a pot, or even just a cup of water, a big jar, glass of water, you're able to take cuts from a lot of different plants. But it's cool. It's dope to play with, man. It's dope to try out all of the different plants and see what you're able to propagate. Because who knows, if you have a fig tree that you really like and it produces, and you love the way the figs taste, and you would like another tree just like that one in your yard, you could go and buy a new fig tree from the nursery. That's going to set you back $20, $30, $40, $50. Or, boom, you could just do this. While you're already pruning during the dormant season, don't just throw that branch away. Let's go ahead and take some cuts and see if we can't propagate our own trees from our own tree. All right? What better way to make sure that you are getting the exact fruit that you want than to propagate it from a tree that you already have growing in your own yard? So that's it. You'll notice that I try to use the thicker branches, but the thinner branches will work just the same. That's it, man. Hopefully you found this informative. If you don't mind, please click that button down there and subscribe to the channel. For any questions, I'm at Big City Gardener on all social media platforms. Whatever it is, man, you know the slogan, you know my motto. Just grow it like the t-shirt says. Hope y'all have a great day.